All right, let's move on to the head. All right, first thing we'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and grab these controllers. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete their keyframe. Okay, and let's just go and move on. So, big thing we need is this character be able to open and close the mouth successfully, animate that tongue, and animate those lips. And we need to make sure all of our blend shapes work together. So let's do the mouth. Ouch. I'm going to open that mouth up about as far as I think it will ever need to go. Okay. Let's go ahead and fix the most glaring problem here. Paint skin weights. Let's do, I'm going to put this guy on its own layer so we can then turn off the mesh layer. It's on two different layers. Okay. Let's do this guy. Turn you off. Okay. All right. Jaw joint tip. And do some heavy replacement for that. For the most part, it's going to be pretty solid weighting to either top jaw or bottom jaw, but then we're going to have a fair amount of soft tissue weighting in the where the jaw hinges together. So we will have that. All right, smooth that out. All right, and we'll do the same thing for the top jaw. We got jaw pivot, upper mid right here. Yeah, let's do it for that one. Most of this is actually really good. So that needs to be kind of soft going through there. Jaw pivot. A fair amount of going through this area. I know that we have the jaw pivot actually up here, but I want it to kind of hinge open and stretch a little bit more. Okay. Looks like it started taking some points from there. Jaw point one, jaw joint one. I don't really need anything right there. Let's go back and fix that. I don't know, just kind of did a weird shift. is this. It sometimes these will try to pick up influences from weird places, and it's not always clear why. See, like that's still trying to do it. So where are you picking up that influence? You're getting it from the top joint. You really should not be getting it from there. So we need to wipe that out. There we go. There we go. Somewhere right about there. Okay. Smooth it. So we're going to try to get it to stretch. That's looking pretty good, actually. I think I like that. All right. Let's do teeth. All right. Upper and mid point. So this is going to be, you know what? This will be a really good place to show you the component editor. Since I have so many vertices to work with here, let's actually go ahead and turn off everything except for the polygons. Okay. I'm going to go and do a vertex selection. And what I'm going to do is select, do a grow selection actually, grow. And I'm going to select basically all the bottom teeth, okay, because clearly those are the ones that are having the worst trouble. So what I need to do is basically wipe out any influence they're getting from the top joints or top jaw joints. So I'm going to go to Windows, General Editors, and I'm looking for Component Editor right here. I'm going to look for skin, smooth skins, right here. So this is all the vertexes that I've selected, and then it has each joint that it has any sort of influence on. And so here's kind of going back to the bucket analogy. You'll see that like this vertex has a 0.9 influence on jaw joint 2, a 0.001 on jaw joint tip, but then a 0.065. So it has 6%, 6.5% influence on the top jaw. So that's what's pulling it up for a total of 1%. So really none of these should have influence from the top jaw. So I'm going to go ahead and actually just select that entire column. Just go all the way down and watch what happens. So I put 0 in as a value. You see how they all shrink back down to what their proper size should be. That's exactly what we want. We can also go and do the same thing for jaw joint tip. Now the jaw joint tip isn't really going to move, but we can go ahead and take that out. So now it's all weight painted to jaw joint 2. So it's all sitting right there for jaw joint 2. And then if we do the same thing for these, we do the same exact thing. We got jaw joint 2, jaw joint tip, upper jaw. We don't need value on jaw joint 2 because that's on the lower jaw, and jaw joint tip, so that's also in the lower jaw. So let's go ahead and take that out entirely. And then I'll put all of this up to 1. So we'll see how they all kind of, they didn't stretch as much. Now they're just kind of sitting where they should be. And it's not as impressive because they're not looking like Dinobot from the crappy Transformers movies that has like insanely long teeth. But that's what he's supposed to look like. Like that's how I modeled him. That's how I want him. So that's much better in my opinion. Okay. Let's work on some of the head joints. All right, so that head center joint we got here. I'm going to go ahead and start painting in some of these horns. Because those horns should be, hard, like they're bone. So they should not be flexing. And since they're all kind of attached to a skull, there's really nothing wrong with them just being fully painted into one joint. So I'm going to go with the head center joint. And you'll see that as I'm painting these in, they're kind of going back to their original position, which is good because that's what I need. Let's go ahead and start painting a lot more of this in. Since this is all hard bone. This is how I would kind of treat the back of a head, as that's if you thunk the back of your head, it's hard, it's skull. You don't have anything that flexes back there. Hopefully we don't. Smooth it a little bit. All right. Let's go with jaw pivot, jaw joint 2, and jaw joint tip. Okay, we're going to look at these areas. I'm going to go and start painting in some of the horns on the chin. So I'm kind of just painting a lot of these in. And you see where I kind of like did that lip line right here. That's also where like the membrane between the upper and lower jaw is. So I kind of need to make sure that like the jaw pivot kind of separates that a little bit, since that should be kind of membrane type area. Okay, smooth that. Well, you know what? I just spent all that time doing that. Why don't we just go and do a mirror skin weights? There we go. Okay. So you see how it's kind of pulling down right here? Let's find that head joint, head top joint, head center joint. Actually, turn on nerves curves. Okay. I'm just checking to kind of see where um, all my stuff, all my controllers are. So I want to go ahead and put I just want to kind of reinforce some of this area right here. Not doing it directly over the eye. That's actually going to be specially painted with the eye joints. But again, I'm trying to get this to where it'll separate. So again, this is also supposed to be bone or bone-like material. It's hard, essentially. I'm just trying to get it to where it'll separate out that membrane. This is kind of where your top and lower jaw will be separating on your cheek. So like if you're doing a humerus, more like a cheek area. Although the cheek, to be fair, would be a lot softer of a transition. There we go. See how it looks a little bit better then. Okay. Left eye center joint. So here's a little bit. It's a little bit tricky. Um, so what I want is for basically the lids of the eyes to follow gently where the eyes point. That's too much. That's way too much. So here's how I'm going to do it. Let's replace, get a value of 0 and flood. Okay. So the head center joint probably is going to take all this over. Let's just go ahead and add that in just to be sure. So I know I was just saying, well, don't paint over it. I guess I'm doing that. I guess we're doing that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint back over it and then give a little bit of influence to the lid to basically hit the eye center joint. So you'll see what I'm talking about. It looks pretty cool. All right. Eye center, left eye center. Okay. And we'll go soft, real soft. And this is going to be really the fleshy, liddy part of the area of the eye. You want to make sure you get around the ring. Something like that. I'm going to smooth the heck out of it. Okay. Let's mirror that. And we're going to look at it. See how subtle that is? Bring that over here. It's does break a little bit, but you see how subtle that movement is? Actually, to be honest, I think it's maybe a little too much. Let's smooth that out. And then let's do place a little bit more. Okay, something like that. So it's pretty light. You can see it moving slightly as it kind of goes. And you blink, kind of get that eyeball moving under the lid just a little bit. And mirror it. Okay. Let's check the lips. Okay. Feels pretty rubber bandy. See how stretchy that is? That is our ribbon spine in full effect. It's really good. It's picking up influence from other parts of the body we don't need, but you get the idea. Okay. So some of that area is picking it up, but we don't need that. So we'll go through and just kind of double check it and take it out where we don't need it. Lip. There we go. Lip follicle. Okay, let's do. Let's see. You can be in a lot of order. So I'm just gonna go down the list and grab the ones that are on this side. One thing that might help us actually, if we just go ahead and jump up to the upper jaw joint, and I should be able to flush out a fair amount of influence. If I just kind of go up here and just kind of wash it out basically. smooth. So something like that. So we'll see if that helps. Okay. Yeah, I think it did. A little bit of influence down here. Just take that out. Let's get some influence up here. Let's take that all out. The only problem with doing 50 of these follicle joints is I have to weight paint 25 of them. Okay. I think it's all the ones on the left side. So let's go and mirror those over. It feels a little bit better. That needs a little bit more work. I'm not really liking it controlling all that, but I think that feels better. It feels, it feels a little fleshy. But the fun thing is you can kind of get him doing a snarl if you wanted to. So that's pretty cool. Okay. All right. Let's do layer 6. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to turn layer 5 off. Let's deal with this guy. Okay. All right. So we got follicle joint 1, 2, 3, and 4. So part of the this having bad topology and being very heavy is going to put a little bit of strain on my computer, just because it's so heavy to do all this. Oh, didn't mean to do that. See if I can control Z out of that. There we go. So the weight paint is going to take a little bit of effort. And again, having so many faces is going to put a little bit of strain on my computer. So yeah, awesome. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go smooth and I'm going to flood it a few times. You'll see it's going to kind of take a second to try to figure it out because it's got so many dang faces on it. And you'll see as I'm trying to smooth it, it's not really smoothing very well. Sweet. So where are those joints? Show, oh, there they are. Okay. Show the joints. And you'll see it's running very slow as it's smoothing each cycle. Okay. And actually, this thing is just, yeah, honestly, I'm just going to stop here with the time because it's not going to work being this heavy. So it's not even worth it trying. But you see kind of the place where it is. Um, Hopefully you understand that, trying to weight paint something like this is going to lead to a lot of errors. It's going to take a long time. It's going to be quite a bit of a headache. I honestly would just say, you know, suck it up, do the retopologization, and work with a lower resolution mesh, because that's uh this it'll make it a lot easier for you. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and put that back. Let's turn off the joints. Hmm, interesting. I'm pretty sure I froze those transformations, but maybe I didn't. That would be definitely a good reason to always test your stuff. Um, yeah, because that crap like that'll happen. It's not good. Oh well. We'll delete that tongue anyways. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this video, and we've already got the face weight painted. Seems to be working pretty well. The blend shapes seem to be working. You can turn back on the skin and test your blend shapes. They all look good. You definitely want to test them before you turn it in after you weight paint it. You never know, something may screw something up. Test your mesh on both sides, even though you've mirrored the weights. Something could always screw up. So like that, something like that's kind of jiggling around. So you want to take care of that. Just test your stuff out. See how it moves. See how it reacts. Make sure everything deforms the way you want it to. Okay. So next video, let's see. I mean, we've already got our stuff organized, so there's really nothing more to organize at this point. Honestly, I guess we could probably just go ahead and finish up with this video. So what I would say is last bit is test everything out. Make sure everything moves. Check your switches, your IK, FK switches. Make sure that those deform properly. Check everything on your feet. Check every single controller. Move it around. Um, if you have any set keys that you've created, go ahead and delete those. So anything down here on the timeline, delete it. The character it must be back at its original position. Everything must be zeroed out um, before you turned it in. And that really is going to be about it. I mean, this character is good to go ahead and start animating. Aside from a couple of weight painting issues, probably still could be tidied up. That's really about it. So yeah, save it and be done with it.